Assalamu alaikum. Thank you and welcome for joining us. LeadTheNation.com or Lead the Nation. We're here to help mentorship with students in Pakistan and mentors from all over the world. So, Alhamdulillah, we're joined by two mentors, and I'm going to introduce them very shortly from the US. And we have a great program, inshallah, and we get to learn together as I am also going to be learning here with our two professionals, inshallah, that are joining us. So, the program today we're going to discuss, or the topic, I should say, is AI Unlocked, artificial intelligence. And what we have seen so far, AI opportunities, challenges, and the road ahead for Pakistani academia. We are joined by Mr. Waseem Abbas from New Jersey, USA. Mr. Waseem is the Gen AI lead at AXA XL with over a decade of experience in machine learning, NLP, generative AI, and data science. He has published research in reputable journals and led advanced AI projects in the insurance and finance sector. So thank you, Mr. Waseem, for joining us. And also with us, our co-panelist is Mr. Shadab Hussain, again from New Jersey as well, USA. Mr. Shadab Hussain is a director of data and AI sales at Microsoft, bringing more than 24 years of cross-industry technology leadership. He co-hosts YouTube programs, the AI Files, so you may want to search for that one, the AI Files, and specializes in AI strategy and cloud computing and digital transformation. So I want to welcome to both of the guests and the audience members who are here. Thank you for joining us. This is a cutting edge. I just want to give a very brief background to our audience. एनईडी यूनिवर्सिटी के स्टूडेंट्स हैं पाकिस्तान में या और कहीं भी पाकिस्तान में या इंडिया में या और किसी भी वर्ल्ड पार्ट ऑफ द वर्ल्ड स्टूडेंट्स जो हैं हमें ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं टुडे वी आर गोइंग टू डिस्कस वेरी ब्रीफली अबाउट एआई आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस और एकेडमिक और एकेडमिया में जो रोल प्ले कर सकते हैं हम इंशाल्लाह. तो again, that's the first thing first. Now what I want to do is mentorship. What do we do at Lead the Nation? Lead the Nation is basically a small organizations where mentors from Pakistan or Pakistani origin, or people who are interested in helping students from Pakistan come together to do one-on-one mentorship. We do have competitions, mock interview competitions. We teach and train people on soft skills. Soft skills are power skills, as you know, जैसे आपने किस तरीके से लोगों से बात करनी है, किस तरीके से डील करनी है, किस तरीके से आपने उनके साथ जो है बर्ताव करना है. This is something that most people are lacking sometimes. It takes some time to become a professional in your industry. तो technical knowledge बहुत ज़रूरी होती है और आपके पास also communication skills होने चाहिए, presentation skills होने चाहिए, soft skills होने चाहिए. That's what we teach in terms of filling the gaps with Lead the Nation, inshallah. So again, thank you for joining us. And without further ado, I would do is let Mr. Shadab start first and just give a brief intro about your role at Microsoft, and then followed by Mr. Waseem, inshallah. So about 2-3 minutes.
Okay. Walaikum salam, Faraz bhai, and Jazakallah to have me here. It's a pleasure to interact with you and Waseem bhai and others as well. My role at Microsoft is it's a changing role. Actually, just last week it changed a little bit, but broadly, my role is to work with the customers and have them understand the cloud computing and the data and the AI solutions that Microsoft offers, and work with them to really transform their organizations, right? The program that they want to run and the solution that they want to use in AI, make them successful with it, right? Because the success is joint. Success is something that both Microsoft and the customer and everybody wants there. And AI programs actually particularly have their own risk and challenges that actually comes with the AI now. So I work with the customers, that closely. Of course, it's a sales role, which means that I work like consultative selling approach, and also providing them the commercial solution, working with the partners. So it's like an entire ecosystem. But broadly, you can say My goal is to make an enterprise intelligent by using the AI and the cloud solutions, right? I'm based out of New Jersey, and I also actually am AI kind of evangelist. So I also actually have my own podcast and YouTube channel. It's titled The AI Files. We do the weekly episode, 30 minutes, because I'll tell you one thing, that the AI is reinventing everything. And in this reinvention time, there is a tons of opportunity for the students like yourself on this platform to really look at and use the AI to transform your career, company, and the community. And that's really my goal here. Okay.
Thank you so much. And this is, again, you do so much in terms of giving back with AI files too. I'm going to definitely encourage all of the students. After you're done with this, you are going to look into AI files and learn from that experience as well, inshallah. Let's go to Mr. Waseem Abbas. Yes, would you like to introduce yourself and your role at AXA? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for like, and thank you, Shadabai. So it's been like a pleasure to me to be part of this organization group where you are teaching like to the students, giving them opportunity to look like in broader view and bird eye view for their future perspective, and also bridging the gap between students, academia, and the industry. So as you have already introduced me, so it's been like a decade I'm working in AI, switching from role to role. Currently, I'm working as a lead generative AI engineer, and where a lot of things happening. And the era that AI has changed is like industry transformation that happens like 4.0 from 3 to 4.0. Now AI is transforming like that, and the pace of AI is transforming is very very faster as we expected. So in back 2015, 16, or 17, we were thinking about like, okay, AI is gonna like take over things, but it's gonna be very slow, maybe by 30 or 35, 2035. But in a couple of years it has changed very drastically. So when you say very drastically, so this it is very hard to get your hands on latest state of the art technology, which is growing very fast. But again, at the same time, it's very interesting and very promising, and also have their own challenge as well. So in industry, actually, from last 10 years, building the gaps between what the institutions like academia, healthcare sector, and finances. So I've got a lot of things there, and so many things to share here. Yeah.
No, thank you so much. So I'll get right into the question and answer at this point. So you've given a brief intro about your position, your role. So to set the stage, can you each share what you see as the biggest shifts that generative AI and large language models have brought to industries like, as you mentioned, finance, insurance, technology companies, and even academia? So because uh, what we want to understand what lessons Pakistani academia can draw from these sectors. Like what could not just students but also teachers. And I know the biggest thing is the writings, the AI does it. The cheating stuff, the plagiarism, and all that stuff that goes on. But can you tell us more? What can we learn? So I'll let Mr. Shadab go first.
Okay, great question, Faraz Bhai. And this is a question I would say, AI is actually kind of an unprecedented innovation in the sense that it's really hard to draw a parallel with anything else in the past, because AI is not just a technology. It really mimics what we do, right? The humanity itself, right? It
Mm,
can
yeah.
talk like us. It can do things like the humans do, right? So in unlike the other technology like internet or mobile, etc., which are like accelerating certain aspects of what we needed to do, this is not just a tool. It can be us, right? It's actually already doing much better job than the medical doctors can do in diagnosis, right? It is doing much better job in, for example, comforting as a therapist, right? So it is just totally transformative. However, very important that that the human, and we'll talk about that a little bit, but I'll say that biggest thing what you're asking is the what is the biggest shift, and I will say that this part of the AI, which is generative AI and the large language models, the biggest shift is everything will be rebuilt. everything will be reinvented. So, as you know, there are ERPs, there is a CRM, even this platform, Restream, where we are doing the live, right? Your words, your Excel, your internet, your browser, everything will get rebuilt, which means there is a tremendous opportunity. Things that we know, as we know, will be dismantled. Just for example, last week, Perplexity, an AI's provider of a solution, right? And they provide the AI assistant app, they have launched their browser, a new browser called Comet. And that Comet is basically built for the AI era. Similarly, OpenAI already announced that they're also going to come with the browser. Now, you will assume that why do we need browser? We already have browser like Chrome and Safari and Edge and all. Why are we? Because they are not
Sure.
built for the era of AI. So everything will be reinvented. You will see the agentic AI. Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella, he actually talks about it. The things that, as you know, like ERP, etc., they will all be dismantled. The SaaS, we call it software as a service, right? Those platforms will be rebuilt. Now you will have agents. They will do specific thing. You don't need the big SAP system, for example. You need the different, like probably 1,000 agents doing specific tasks. That is the opportunity that we have, and that's a bigger shift. As I say again, summarizing, AI is an opportunity to reinvent and rebuild everything. Everything is on the table right now. That's a bigger shift. Okay. Over to you, I think, Wasim Bhai.
Yeah, thank you. So I would second you, and especially
And what
yeah. So I think we are lagging. So I would second you. The thing is, when we say the agentic AI, so this is the era where we can think of obviously reinventing new tools, reinventing different industrial perspective. But when it comes to agentic AI, that means you are going to integrate different application, different platform, different sources all together to a single united brain. What's going to do? For example, your CRM, HRM, your software, applications, your platform, your learning platforms, your application, even cloud, SaaS, everything. Now you can integrate everything in a single united app. So when we say single AI considered app, that was not possible before, and it was very hard. I was working like in 2015, 16, and I've seen like a lot of challenges when we come to like integrate different apps. We have to go with very expensive way to figure out what one application is saying and what it wants to communicate with other one. Now we have that actually app that is like generative AI or large language model that can translate one thing to very precise information what we want. For example, for classification, for task, for any recommendation. So taking those output from your input data and then integrating into agentic way and communicating with each other agents, different application, different platforms. There comes like integration. So you can come up with single united solution where we can thousand of agents talking to each other, and each agent is like a human, different humans. So they are perceiving the task, they know what action they want to take, and after action, it's not just only taking action, it's like feedback from human. Okay, did I make this execution well? Do you have any comments on that? And taking that comments, that human feedback, integrating into the system to make it more self-awareness. So this is actually how agentic AI and AI shift is going to happen. Yeah,
Totally.
exactly.
um, amazing, amazing. So there might be some lagging, but hopefully I get my point across here. The questions. So thank you so much. This is again changing everything as we know in terms of technology, decision making, these smart capabilities it has. And you have mentioned, the shift that has happened. Perplexity is a very good example. Grok is a good example of what we're seeing, and it has implications on the ground in terms of how people use news and views and opinion making. So that is a big part of what we're seeing as well. I want you to both try to come to a little bit to the academic side, college institutions, high schools we have in New Jersey. What have you heard about in terms of how the educators, are using, a big name here is, I believe, is it Salman Khan, the Khan Amigo, right? The creator. He's a big voice in the U.S. and global on Khan Amigo and how they're trying to use agents and mentorship and even not mentorship. but tutoring with AI. What have you seen in that education used, and what do you see as, just we talked about the browsers, you all remember Netscape, right? You all remember these things that are things of the past. Now we're looking at the writing itself, where we obviously there is this emphasis on solving. AI could solve anything, and so homework that is given, assessment projects that are given, where you have to have writings on on specific topics, that seems like something that you're defeating, because you're just allowing people to go and one click. Now people could write 3 years, 4 years of thesis and dissertation, right, for PhD level. And that's where what do you see in terms of the implications within college, for college students and college professors, where how they should shift as well, because we see the big shift in tech, right?
True. And I would say that, you will find a different kind of opinion on this one. So what happens is, in fact, just a recent survey that happened this week by NBC News, it reflected the reality in the US. Half the people think that AI is beneficial, and they feel that AI should be integrated into the academia and the education in every school. It should be taught. Half the people think that it should not be, right? So it is the AI divide, I would say, exists in the society, and you will see that, like, it's not and something like very similar to what we have seen in the past as well. Like, look at the internet. When it came, even that divided people, right? The educators and other, they said that no, don't
Sure.
use the internet. You have to go to the conventional library and then look at all the books, etc. You cannot do the search, etc. But now, as we know, the things have changed. So I would say, first of all, if you have to prosper and thrive in the era of AI, you have to adopt it. You have to accept it. It's going to coexist along with us. Secondly, start looking at how the enterprises and the corporates and the organizations are using AI today. And the academia needs to prepare, right? That's ultimately their goal. Their goal is to prepare the student for the life ahead, and that's what you should look at. If you look at the academia and enterprises, the enterprises that I see were a little bit slow, but the people were very quick. There were more people actually using AI, and some of the enterprises, they started blocking AI. Right? They say, okay, don't use ChatGPT, don't use Microsoft Copilot. No, we will not allow it. We don't know what will happen. People were ahead of them. However, they started using it. Eventually, enterprises realized, oh wow, actually there is a lot of benefit of it. Let's start allowing. Now they are enabling them. They are giving them the licenses to use the Chat GPT, to use the Microsoft Copilot, etc. And we see that, and now they're benefiting it. I would say the academia has to take the same approach. Look at how it is being used. There are lots of programs. For example, you talked about the Khan Amigo, which is basically a collaboration between Microsoft and the Khan Academy. Similarly, just this week, actually, Microsoft has announced a new program called Microsoft Elevate. Elevate program, what they're going to do is they're gonna actually work with the educational institute, right? So the academia should try to take advantage of such programs like Microsoft Elevate. It's a $4 billion AI training program that will be launched globally, and it will be done in the partnership with the education institutions to train the students and the community for the AI skills, right? So that nobody feels left behind. Because I'll tell you one thing, the biggest risk of the AI is it will create the inequality. If people do not learn how to use it, they will be left behind, right? And you don't want to be left behind when a new technology comes. Imagine somebody doesn't know how to use internet today. You know how it will feel. They will not be able to thrive in the age of today, where internet is everywhere, right? Where mobile is everywhere. Similarly, same thing will happen in AI. So accept it, embrace it. I'm not saying it's a perfect technology. I'm not saying it is free of the issues. But I'll tell you what, it is not about technology. The problem is with the greed. The problem is with the ethics of the people. Technology only amplifies your intention. So don't blame AI. AI is just a tool. Learn it and use it in the good ways. Okay, that would be my direction, and that would, I would say, the academia can play that role. They can instill those ethics and the values and remove those prejudices and train the students in the right way of using the AI. Okay, passing on to our
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
good
Thank you, Shravan.
perspective. And
So
yes,
exactly. So what's happening actually? Um, I would talk like one application I came across that was Notebook LLM. So, and I have seen a couple of students they're using. So how they're using it, when they have assignments, they have their notes, and they just upload those documents to Notebook LLM, and they just live chat with them to get understand specific topic. So in our era, we have to go through chapter by chapter, page by page to find some answer, to find some relevancy between different topics. Now it's like on your tips, like you can get any answer, anything in a couple of seconds, right? So this is how it's evolving. When it comes to the students, academia, and the AI, actually, obviously that has to happen, and it should be. So it's a race. Whoever jumps first is gonna win for him. It's like I would say academic war across the globe when it comes to adoption of AI. Obviously, it has to. For example, in China, actually, they are a bit far ahead when it comes to academia. So they are integrating a lot of things in academia to actually help their students to come up faster with their learning and to help them in their academic careers, also integrating it with their professional jobs as well. Similarly, US actually transforming as well, and they are not lagging behind from any other industry or any other academia around the globe. So, I think last week or maybe 2 weeks ago, so legislation has passed a bill to actually integrate or let the students start the or learning the AI from very early stage. So when we say very early stage, that means like from their primary schools, right? From their playground schools, they should learn what AI is, how AI actually works, not only just using it, but learning it. So they should be like future students or future scholars who are going to build or revolutionize the AI ahead the generative AI currently we have. So it has to happen. And other than that, obviously in the school, learning the students' behavior, how they're learning, also keeping an eye on their contact, what kind of content they are going through. So is it hazardous for them or is good for them? So before I had like it was not easy to understand those things and to make some kind of blockage on that one, just other than some streams or IP blockage. But now you can see through the content, through the stream, what student is looking at and how much time they're spending on learning. And also you can learn, for example, there's another HCI kind of brain head. So you can wear on your heads, and your concentrations, your thought can be translated to how much time you're spending, how concentrated you are, what is your performance. So all these things are going to happen. And again, the adoption is the key. The first adoption is going to win.
great, great. Thank you, Mr. Waseem. That is amazing. I mean, again, the light speed that we see and adoption, and obviously staying ahead of the curve, learning. And so these are big lessons that our academia, our leadership in Pakistan, in terms of colleges, universities, the teachers, right, the administrations, the deans, they could learn, and also students as well. Like stay ahead of the curve, keep learning, keep growing, use it. Don't abuse it, right? And so that kind of brings us to the question that Dr. Mumtaz Qureshi here, our professor at NED, he's also asked. And I want you to, and I know Brother Shadab, Mr. Shadab had mentioned, Elevate, and where, $4 billion or so, you had mentioned something that Microsoft is coming with right next. And so I want you to touch a little bit more on that from academia perspective. Dr. Mumtaz is asking here, what role can international collaboration play in accelerating AI development in Pakistani academia? And again, there is like this mutual understanding, cross collaboration on a lot of these, in the industry. And Salman Khan and other Khan Amigo, we talked about on a rudimentary elementary school level that they're working here in the U.S. And I also want to hear from Mr. Waseem, your turn. What has happened in China also, where they might be a little bit ahead, perhaps, in terms of their innovation, and maybe perhaps not just innovation, but also integration of AI within their public schools or schooling. So I may want to, inshallah, if you could touch on that one, that would be great. So let's start with Mr. Shadab first, and then Elevate, I believe you mentioned just a little bit on that one, inshallah.
Yeah, I mean, I would say Elevator is just one example where Microsoft is investing, but likewise, for example, whether you take Anthropic or OpenAI companies as well, they have their own programs where they are actually trying to work with the community. Because one of the thing is nobody has, I would say, figured out yet. While everybody writes about it, Sam Altman and everybody, that okay, AI will bring a lot of prosperity, AI will create more jobs. Nobody has yet figured out what are those, right? And I would say there are many gray areas where nobody knows. Those are the areas where the academia can actually invest in the research with these international companies, like to figure out, because ultimately a technology is of no use if it is not going to be used by the society and if doesn't bring any benefit to the society, right? Take an example of like for example blockchain, right? Or some of the other technologies that were invented but they were not really adopted and they never really could change anything in the society. Now every country is taking different approach. Talking about China is actually right behind US. 50% of the AI researchers actually come from China. Okay, and that's because of the investment they have done in the academia at the China level, right? And remember, AI is not just about the large language model. It's not just about that model development. It's also about the hardware, right? They have done a lot of Taiwan has done a lot of this manufacturing, right? So there is a hardware, there is a software, which is basically you can say model, but then there are applications. In fact, application is going to be much larger layer and the investment, right? There are use cases, as I talked about it. The Pakistani Academia can invest in working with these organizations on how this will turn into economical benefit or economical risk, right? So they can work on the economical part of it. How this can be, for example, and there are several examples, right? And if you go to the Microsoft website, they're working with villages, they're working with the institutions to actually uh, reinvent farming methods, for example. So academia, because they are everywhere in all the cities and towns and everywhere, they can create a kind of AI collaboration network, work together on actually translating AI into the grassroots of the society. Companies are not necessarily going to do that. Companies work for profit, but academia can work with the so academia can play actually a role in bonding between the international companies and the organizations and the students and everything, and bring that change in the society, in my way. Passing on to you.
Great perspective. Thank you again. Let's hear. Mhm.
Yeah, sure, sure. So again, that's a very nice topic you brought up. So the thing is, industry is growing rapidly. They are jumping rapidly, I would say. So initially, when we were industry, we have seen like when it comes to like say new project is coming, you have to do a lot of things, the POC, MVP, then go for a lot of check with the requirements, going back and forth with the stakeholders, and then starting the building of this product. But nowadays, with this very rapid change in it, now all those steps mostly has been like eliminated out. Now you have idea, take the idea, start building, developing, and push the market. So this is how actually pace has changed. So when we say pace has changed, so companies or industries actually are building application on top of that. When it comes to the sole research, obviously researchers are there. There are great universities, great students, great academia scholars who are doing a lot of research behind that one. The gap which I see in Pakistan and their academic resources, which can bring and make the actually bridge between both gaps, actually again collaborating with the industry, collaborating with the scholars to come up with any idea which have, for example, another gap I see like that is data center. So data center is many, we can say, the source or hub where a lot of industry actually revolve around. If we have any data center in Pakistan and different academic centers, they come up together and think about, okay, let's have one data centers. We all are going to collaborate and we're going to get benefit of that and give serve the nation, actually not only nation but the, maybe world. So that's one thing that is very helpful. And when it comes to the academia, the adoption of AI, letting students use it and letting them doing the research. Obviously, there are the resources and very extensive hardware is required. So if you have data center, you can utilize that one. And also, universities now have their own clusters as well. So which can be utilized to do that thing. And the very large language models and agentic AI, all these models now can fine tuned on your own laptops even as well. So you can do that. But again, giving the direction is the main key. So if there's an entire body for like AI governance for entire country or academia, so if they have some vision and they can utilize that vision and actually make it pass to the generation to come up with new ideas, to make new application, and letting them to or helping them to connect with industry, I think that's another key to look into. That can be very, very helpful.
Yeah, and
Very well
I'll
said,
say one
Waseem
thing.
Abbas. And ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, Faraz bhai, that one of the thing is that look, any specific new technology that is emerging can actually change the fortunes of a country, right? For example, if you take an example of the telecom revolution, right? That actually really pivoted India, for example, right, into the because of the telecom revolution, right? All this IT outsourcing and work started. So an ability to quickly capture that technology skill, and the academia quickly actually started providing the courses in the IT and the IT skills, etc. That actually transformed the suddenly the India's major population into a working class which can quickly take on the IT projects, right? And that role was played by the academia, remember, right? Through that skilling, through that including the IT in the courses. When I did my MBA, that time itself they actually came up with the new courses which include the IT into MBA to make the the managers much more comfortable with the information technology, right, when it was evolving. That is an example of how academia can quickly adopt, localize, and skill people with the local context. Only academia knows the local society better, and that can actually help you prepare a workforce for the next wave of AI. Because opportunities are still emerging. As I said, nobody knows fully what all kind of opportunity that will emerge. But if you are ready, and then when the time comes, you'll be able to exploit it.
Amazing. That is wonderful insight from both of our luminaries. Mashallah. I really love the insights that your students, but the leadership in academia, right? Like how you on the ground can make things happen. And right in front of us, there are two experiments, I would say, on a nation level. China is one within you know how they got rid of it, and they went to the superpower level. What 25 years, and then India within a decade or two as well. IT industry, education, strengthening, taking the role of that leadership. That yes, this is the direction we're going to. We're not going to look backwards. We're going to go forward. Even to a point where they have now, as I was reading about it just recently, that open book exams, where this is a concept that, rote memorization skills that we used to be like all about in terms of learning. As long as you memorize, you learn. That was like the strategy of learning. But it doesn't work anymore. And they have recognized it, and they have changed, cultural change, technological change. And India is in the forefront of the massive revolution that's happening. So, and Prime Minister was here giving address to the as a friendship between America and India. I mean, that's like a seismic shift in terms of not just education, technology, but political leadership and political, strengthening. So these are some of the things. I also there are two things that we want to talk about. I think it's abuse and use of AI. I want to come back to that, but I also want the leadership, right, to recognize something that you both touched upon, and that is planning, right? Having a document, maybe coming up and brainstorming and sitting down and saying, what is our AI vision? This is the AI vision for NED universities, because we work with NED and other schools, but that's where we start, and that serve as a role model for next 10 years, next 5 years. What are the steps that we're going to take? What, as you mentioned, Mr. Waseem about the data center. I mean, this is where you take the steps towards technological advancement, education within your society. And I look at it, the perspectives are given. There was a chance, internet was a chance, was another chance. Now comes another chance, and that is opportunity and challenge again. And the opportunity is AI, right? What can the Pakistani society, Pakistani culture, Pakistani academia, Pakistani leaders do in terms of advancing their society when here comes another train, this train to get, ahead, advance your society. So what I want to share again, going back, is are we planning? What does that plan look for? At least for your school, for your university, have in terms of do's and don'ts, uses and abuses, ethical component, how we're going to use this technology, how we're going to advance this technology. We're going to create a data center. We're going to create projects, in terms of practical implications. Industry liaisons, industry involvement as to how AI and the academia could forge, right, friendship, partnership, and formulate practical use. And that's where, how things start moving when people see, practical use of AI, not just writing papers and, finding answers to 2 + 2 is 4, and I'm obviously dumbing it down, but advanced level of use and how are going to help the society, how you advance these things. We do have a lot of questions here. I'm going to ask about the use and abuse again, how people, you have seen the abuse of it and how we should curtail that from academia perspective. We have a question from Mr. Muhammad Abbas Sajid, who's actually very involved at leadership level at the university. How do we teach AI to the students in terms of, again, what I touched upon, just not just ethical basis, but also just a bigger picture, because things are shifting so fast, as I understand. So how do we teach, again, college students? We'll start with Mr. Shadab first.
Okay. I would say I'll give some example of this, right? How do we teach AI to the student? In fact, to be honest, many times it is reverse. Actually, students teach us how to use AI because students are generally young. They quickly adapt and adopt the technology.
Good
For
point.
example, like my own daughter, right? I've introduced them to the Chat GPT and Microsoft Copilot, and I've shown them how to use it. They didn't really need much training. They were very quickly able to actually start doing things, right? Now they use it every day. They use it every day when they're doing the homework, when they're doing their studies, etc. Now, here is the role that I have to play, and this is a role I would say the academia should also play very importantly to avoid the abuse. The the students know how to use technology, but they don't discern the difference between what is acceptable, what is not acceptable. Rather than blocking the AI completely, that, oh, don't use the AI for doing the homework, teach them how to use AI to do genuinely, right? So that you are also learning, and then you are also basically able to use the tool. For example, AI can also do the coding. Okay, so should the students only use AI, just tell AI that, okay, create a web page? Should they only do that, or should they use AI as an assistant in learning the coding? That, okay, I want to learn to build a web page using HTML5, or let's say, whatever, React, etc. And in order to do that, I want to understand, okay, so I'm going to ask AI, I'm going to use AI to help me do the coding, right? So basically, use it as an assistant rather than as complete automation, or not at all, right? Those are extreme choices. So that's a role that academia can play, right? Teaching them how to use it as an assistant, teaching them how to use it correctly. There are many AI apps which actually help you cheat. In fact, there is a company that says that cheating is the business, basically, right? And they have $100 million in revenue just in few months, right? We the academia can play the role in telling and helping teach the responsible use of AI. We call it responsible AI, right? There are lot of framework around that. Microsoft has its own responsible AI framework, which is like based on 6 pillars, like fairness and avoiding the biases. So academia can also actually help avoid any biases in the society, right? Things like that. So there are many ways in which academia can do it, but I would say responsible AI. The second is that, okay, telling student how to use it safely and responsibly, they will learn on their own. And thirdly, you can also help them guide with some, for example, help them with like they can take certifications, for example, because ultimately students also need to prove that they know AI. How do they prove it? So you can help them learn some badges, learning badges, certification, things like that. And I would say that that's the role that academia can play in the academic sector. Over to you, Wasim.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think that's a very good path to follow. Um, in our era, when we were students and we were grasping all this technology change, it was very hard for us. Like it was very even hard to find a tutor or to find a supervisor who are working AI, right? So I remember in 2014, I went with the BCI. Like I wanted to actually read human brain, what we are we are thinking about, what our motor action or hands or legs movement we're thinking about. I wanted to extract that information and classify it. So I was struggling to find a supervisor for that one in our academia. Now the things are changing very well as Claude, GPT, Gemini, all those large language models. They are PhD level scholars. They can work as PhD level scholars. So you have one assistant that is capable of doing or helping you out or supervise you out as a supervisor who is PhD in that specific technology, whatever you're working with. So given that, now you have personalized supervisor, you have personalized assistant, you have personalized person you can talk about. Given that, you can make a plan. So obviously, what academia can provide this, students can do all this thing by their own self, but they need tools, they need place, they need a couple of resources, and also the motivations. If academia come up with, okay, we have a couple of labs set up in our academic centers, let's say 8 to 10 labs. Each lab is dedicated, let's say one for large language model research, one is for computer vision, one is big data, one is for other one, or maybe uh, reutilize different labs. And if those labs are open and available 24 by 7, and students can sit there, they are allowed to sleep there, even work as they on their pace whenever they want to. That's a very big platform. And I remember when I was doing my masters, and we were allowed to sleep in the lab, and I used to sleep in the lab on my schedule, that I was working like 2 hours a day whenever I want to. So that leveraged us to learn a lot, to use or utilize the tools to come up with our ideas, from ideas to solutions at very fast pace. So here, the academia can help them, providing them resources, providing them infrastructure, and students can do those things by themselves. Yeah.
Thank you again. That is great. I take a lot of notes on this, and students and mentors and administration to take a lot of notes on what is being discussed. This is really providing us an insight into the for the role that we could play in terms of providing responsible use, 6 pillars that you've talked about, Mr. Shah, resources, that you've talked about, Mr. How, providing these resources, data centers, use of labs, 24/7 idea. And again, the perspective that you have, sometimes you have to listen to students. It's not just a one-way street in terms of what AI, what needs to be done, in terms of the use, because Mr. Abbas Sajid had asked about the courses. Maybe perhaps we need to ask students, what do they want to learn? And to summarize, maybe perhaps the badges that we've talked about, education, that might be something the university on a short-term basis, where it's a more urgent basis, because before you get 4 years, things shift so many, at such a fast level pace at within AI industry. You may want to introduce like certain courses and classes with the help of students and gain knowledge, and insight and use of tools, practical implications and things of that nature, and then go from there for the students, because then students will grow in terms of their learning, and they will also have sort of what we call in the US guide rail or bound, that they understand, okay, this is where it becomes and this is where the good use is. And point to make if for people of advanced age, like the calculator started, and it was, people were apprehensive about use of calculator. People advanced and people went ahead, and there was a shift in what I want to one last question to take, and actually Karam Chaudhry, she's our mentor, Miss Karam. She's also here in the US, and she does a lot of one-on-one mentorship as well, and she talked about some tools. You've mentioned some tools, and at the end I will give you a chance to mention other tools. Also, so I want to Mr. Amar Iqbal, who's also one of our what tools or platforms would you recommend for faculty members who are new to AI but want to incorporate it in their teaching? Again, I want to mention that this was mentioned by Mr. Shadab, that give me the answer to this problem. That's one way of approaching it. And then there's another one where AI is an assistant, ChatGPT or whatever it is, and you say, I am new to this. Could you please teach me this? And then you kind of follow these other questions, Mr. Amar Iqbal. But I have some chance before we close, inshallah, to give us some tools specifically for academia, teachers, and even students that they should, or even courses that they should. Thank you.
Yeah, and I would say that, look, these companies who are building the AI, they actually want to work with the academia, okay, because they all are competing very hard. It's a very intense competition. It's not just one company, right? So whether it's OpenAI or Anthropic, Microsoft, Google, Grok, everybody is actually working, and there are open source model as well, right, from the Llama and DeepSeek, etc. So it's such a tough competition, and I'm in the AI sales, so I know that, right? That they are very, very willing, and they have a lot of incentives to actually that they offer to the academia to work with them, because they want to tap the young workforce that will be going into academia, and if they are familiar with their tools, they will continue to use those tools. So they want to actually capture them young. Now academia, of course, it's a win-win situation, right? They gain the people. Like, for example, Apple actually started creating a great program for the academia, and that's where they started giving the more education about using Apple platform. That's why people started using the Mac, and then they continue to using Mac. Same approach Google is taking with the Chrome, right? They're handing out a lot of free Chromebooks, etc., in the school, because once you use it, now you're going to use it for life. Same thing happening with AI. For example, Perplexity actually offered free subscription to the students of the university. They do that actually a lot. They, in fact, were running a promotion. My daughter also signed up for that, where they were running a promotion that, okay, if 100 students sign up from a particular college, right, I think 100 or 1,000, something like that, then they will make it free for 1 year, for example, right? There are programs like that. OpenAI has a program called ChatGPT Education, where they actually work with the universities to bring the AI. This is a fully developed program. They will work with you to introduce AI in the education and your institutions. So there are many of such programs which are available from Microsoft, from OpenAI, Perplexity. They will provide free AI services access. They will provide the program to educate students on using AI, etc. So you don't need to reinvent anything, and don't try to reinvent anything. Basically, just sign up and collaborate with those companies. They will be very happy to work with the academia. Over to you, Wasim bhai.
Yeah, thank you, Shadabai. So yeah, thank you, Shadabai. So I would like to cover in different perspective from adoption for faculty. So for example, You can get this subscription. You can get a lot of courses which are freely available for the students, for entire group of students from one academia or maybe collaboration. So when it comes to giving tools to students and faculty, it's really easy now. For example, you have one cluster, which is in your IT department. Utilize one cluster with like limited maybe RAM or CPUs. Lemma 2, Lemma 3 models that can be deployed on machines. For example, if I have a laptop which is like 8 GB or 16 GB RAM, I can deploy Lemma 2. And if I extend it like 32, 64 GB, I can deploy Lemma 3 as well. So that's like open source model you can utilize. So if you have one open source model and deploy it on your cluster and make it available to all your users or group of users, that is one thing. That's going to be free of cost. Just one machine running 24 by 7, you get all the things. Then when it comes to the learning AI for difficulty, I can understand. So as AI is getting a backbone of everything in a very near future, so academia, professors who are already in their field, they have very depth knowledge about, let's say, one professor in signal processing, one is in traffic, one is in civil engineering, all those, and adopting for them the IT solutions, let's say generative AI, obviously is going to be a little bit hard, but for them, there are a lot of newsletters they can go through. For example, TLDR, these are newsletters, so they give the news about the AI, what's going on daily basis. So it's a early morning newsletter. Just go through it. It's not going to take like more than 5 to 10 minutes. You are becoming ahead of the AI. What's going on? What are the changes? How new things are coming in the market. Then the second thing, short courses, which are available like Coursera from MIT, Stanford, OpenAI. They have their on launched on their learning platform as well, so you can learn from there as well. So resources are available everywhere. The field you want to choose, go for those courses, go for TLDR, some newsletters, then go for the research. You can, for example, if you have like 10 papers to read daily, take that paper or its link, ask the GPT to summarize it for. What are the learning section or points we have to learn for, let's say, for myself?
Yeah.
You can provide, okay, I'm a professor in this field and I want them to like AI and how to integrate that AI or utilize that AI in my field, for example, in signal processing. So it will give you very dedicated material to learn in signal processing. How you can enhance, how can you become ahead in signal processing using AI. So all these tools are available. All these courses are available. Those are free, and we can leverage them to come up with very, very, in best way to utilize it. Then there's one study I would like to talk about. So I was reading one research paper last month, and they were saying like people who are using AI or ChatGPT to come their work on daily basis. Obviously, they are very fast at pace to build these solutions, but at the same time, their brain activity has been reduced to 30%. For example, if they were utilizing their brain 70%, and now it's reduced to, let's say, 55% now, and that 15% gap in their brain utilization is just because of AI. So we don't want to become those person. We are not utilizing our brain, as Mr. Shadab already said that we have to use it as a assistant rather than our mentor or let them do our work. So we have to think about if we are developing or doing software engineering or all those stuff we have to do by ourselves. But yeah, let them assist us and help us where we find any difficulties or want some pace, but we should know everything. Yeah.
Great point, Mr. Waseem. And that is one of those out there. And, with anything, social media, it has connected all of us. We're able to do this, from America to Pakistan and any other part of the world. Internet, obviously, but technology has given us so much. But also technology sometimes, if we're not careful, the abuse is there too. And obviously, we want to utilize the brain to the maximum limits, and it's not to minimize it, right? So again, hard work, trying to is what we are looking for. A lot of activity. We don't want the brain act to slow down, and you have mentioned some of the examples. Final thoughts, final statement, inshallah, and what I want to do, just from my perspective, I just want to share that what we'll do for our academia, Pakistan, and other places, we will actually have it summarize this conversation. We'll mention all the tools that have been listed, and we will share it on YouTube Live right under the the YouTube link that we have and the video that is posted, and we will also share it. So, people who want to understand and have a quick glance at tools and understanding that's the next step for the next step for the professor, the next step for the administration and deans and assistant deans to look into what could they do. Those are all listed out, and they have an easy time just picking it up and reading it on what we have discussed here. So I will do that. That's my promise to all of the listeners who are out there or viewers who are out there. Now we go to the final conclusion, yeah, or remarks. It's getting long.
I see lots
Mr.
of questions
Shadab.
that are asked in the chat about like what tools or platforms, etc. There are a lot of questions about that. So I just want to cover that. Look, tools and platforms, there are plenty, and that's why we didn't want to mention specifically that use only that one. This is not an ad platform, right? um, so you can use anything. You can use chat gpt, you can use Claude or Microsoft Copilot. I generally use chat gpt and Microsoft Copilot because that's what I have the access to, right? I don't need to use the other, but I do try others as well. But just remember that there are most of the time free version of these as well, because many students may want the free access. There are student access which is discounted. There are, so you can go to, I would say I would recommend ChatGPT, Microsoft Copilot. Gemini is also pretty good. Claude, Anthropic Claude is also very good. Perplexity, they actually offer a lot of discounts and the free access. They always have a free access tier. ChatGPT also has a free access tier. All these are good because they all use the latest technology. So if you use them, you will always feel that you're using the latest. um, and more important is focus on how you use them. People are not going to ask you that, okay, it's not like it's Java or Python, basically, right? You are a programmer. If you are a programmer, you should be able to do programming as a from a concept point of view, right? The concepts are more important. Like how do you use AI is more important than whether you use a chat GPT or something, because that is not so relevant. The reason being, AI nowadays talk our language. Earlier we used to talk the machine's language, like we will have to learn Java or C or PHP or whatever. Now we all talk in English. In fact, there is a famous tweet, right, by Andre Karpati, that hottest programming language is English. Okay, so English or even Urdu, anything you can use, that is your programming language. Use AI for whatever you want it. Any AI is good enough. Over to you, Wasim bhai.
Great point. Brother Wasim?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Sure. So again, yeah, when it comes to the tools to learn AI or to have them as an assistant, obviously, we have already heard about all the tools available, which are on free tier. We can utilize multiple tools. You have one email account. Go to Perplexity. Go to ChatGPT. Go to Gemini. Create your accounts. Utilize the tokens. Once limit is reached on one model, use another one. Right? You can see. So that's the one thing. When it comes to the tool in AI, there are hundred of tools other than generative AI. Right? When you're learning, for example, if you are doing programming, you have to start. So which tools you need to actually start? Let's say the Python. Python is the main language which mainly used for AI. When it comes to designing model, doing data analysis, feature computation, feature engineering, deployments maybe. So that's the one thing. So you need Python, let's say. That's a very, very handy and user-friendly language. Then let's say Anaconda. There's another tool which provides actually very core boilerplate images you can create. You can create different what do you call it, like environments, so which are isolated from different environments. You can install different libraries in one environment and start your developing. So Anaconda is one tool you can utilize for initial learning or doing the development, all those stuff. And other than that, again, when it comes to utilization, for example, I talked about the Notebook LM. So Notebook LM is another tool that is open source. You can upload your documents. You can connect it to your Google Drive or any other sources, or maybe from your local machine, and upload the documents and talk about your documents. So you can learn, you can get answers. It's like basic a RAG system, running maybe or connecting your entire data and giving you the opportunity to talk to your data actually. So that's another tool you can utilize, and that's for students and for the academia as well. So for example, as a researcher or as a professor, we have a lot of documents, we have a lot of slides, and you can utilize those tools to get direct answer in very like in a couple of seconds with these tools. So yeah, again, we will provide a list of tools. There's like a lot of tools available. So if it's very focused, for which reason, or for example, development tools, utilization tools, maybe generic tools, or some other tools with other industry, for example, again, we can provide those lists.
Yeah. So again, I thank my luminary speakers here, present Mr. Waseem Abbas and Shadab Hussain for joining us from the US, talking about AI Unlocked. And we've discussed a lot of information on resources, the steps for students, for teachers, professors, and even administration, what to do in terms of AI, and how to have a perspective of learning, advancing. And that is what we need. What we need is leadership. And leadership is something that, again, lead the nation. And that's what we're trying to get the next set of leaders, the generation that's coming from college students to professionals, teaching them soft skills, having them learn that whether it's the technology, whether it's the soft skills or power skills, to learn and then grow, and then to be able to provide benefit to humanity. You take the leadership role. When you are able to give or give back, that is a leader. And that's how we see leadership. So again, I want to thank our two leaders, our two mentors here today, Mr. Shadab Hussain and Mr. Waseem Abbas, for their time. We have learned today. We will continue to share with you and ask your guidance on AI-related topics. And I'm sure there are other questions that people may have, and that I will reach out to you. Again, thank you again, and Allah Hafiz, Pakistan Zindabad.
Okay, left.